Good afternoon. Here's your top story on this Friday afternoon. Oregon Senator Tim Knopp is one of 11 Republican Oregon senators who left the state to avoid a cap and trade vote aimed at curbing climate change. He has spent some time in Idaho hiding. Now, coming up in this newscast, we'll be hearing from the senator, and we'll have much more on this story throughout all of our newscasts.
But right now, let's talk a little bit more about this cap and trade bill that's caused all of this commotion. Only one other state has a cap and trade bill, that's California. Oregon would be the second. If it becomes law, it would limit CO2 emissions from nearly 100 large companies, mostly energy and utility companies. But for a fee or a tax, those companies could go over the cap. Democrats see this as a path to stop global warming, but Republicans say it will raise energy prices and cost people their jobs.
From across the state of Oregon, hundreds of people who work in the timber industry have descended upon Salem to protest cap and trade.
I raised a kid, I've taken care of my disabled mother, and I bought my own home as a single mom driving log truck.
Loggers, loaders, truck drivers, mill operators, all driving home the point to lawmakers. They don't want to pay more in fuel prices and gas taxes. One driver says cap and trade would likely force her to buy a very expensive new truck just so she can continue working. But the bill's supporters point to California, where cap and trade regulations have been in place for several years. They say gas prices did not rise dramatically and greenhouse gases are down.
My truck's an '06. If all this passes, I'll be limited here. I'll have to get rid of it at some point, and I can't afford a brand new truck because a brand new rigged up log truck is $250,000.
If you are low income and you see the price at the pump increase, they can actually provide rebates to you as part of this to help cover some of those costs. Same on power prices or gas prices to heat your home or to pay your power bills. There's a lot of ratepayer protections that are actually built in.
Supporters say there's also a provision in the bill for displaced workers to find new jobs.
It will pretty much take $375 million annually. That's our payroll. That's what we spend out of this local economy.
More opposition over the proposed cap and trade bill in Oregon. This opposition coming from the paper mill industry, saying it would be a disaster. Chris Lytle from our Sinclair sister station reports folks in that industry believe it would shut them down.
Georgia Pacific is one of nearly 100 companies that would be negatively impacted by the cap and trade bill. The Wana Mill is the county's largest employer. The workers say that this bill could cost them their livelihood.
My full-time job is to help run No. 5 paper machine, which is I think it is the largest tissue machine in the whole western United States.
Bill Kerr is also the president of the local Steelworkers 1097 union, which represents 600 of the 750 mill workers at the Wana Pulp and Paper Mill in Clatsop County. Kerr argues pollution caps will create a competitive disadvantage and cause companies to consider relocating and likely to other locations with fewer climate regulations.
What happens if this mill closes?
If this mill closes alone, which puts us right here
on the map of mill closures, the 8th to shutter in the Northwest in recent years, according to the union.
It will pretty much take $375 million annually. That's our payroll. That's what we spend out of this local economy.
Several industries, including manufacturing, forestry, agriculture, and paper mills, receive some exemptions as they fall in the bill's energy-intensive trade exposure sector. Some companies will be allowed to discharge up to 95% of their emissions for free the first 3 years. After that, they can still receive allowances if they prove to the state they're using best practices to curb greenhouse gases. Nancy Hamilton of Oregon Business for Climate, supporters of the bill, says the state can meet its 2050 climate goals while achieving growth with this cap and trade bill.
In other jurisdictions that have employed a similar program have seen economies thrive, jobs grow.
If companies do relocate, the bill also provides funding to support job creation, job training, and programs that provide financial support for workers displaced by climate change or climate change policies, all paid for by companies who are charged for excess emissions.
According to the bill, at least half of all funds must benefit rural and low-income communities in Oregon.